So we're going to be talking about with our next guest. We're going to be talking about some of the mundane things we do, the most mind-numbing things. I'm sure sometimes we can all agree certain things feel like rinse and repeat type thing, the mind-numbing things. But our next guest, Josie Gibson, TV presenter, is going to give us a bit of an insight into what are the 20. Well, I'm not going to go through all 20 of them because that'll probably be a bit mind-numbing, Josie. But what's the rundown here? What do people find mind-numbing?
Hello, Jimmy. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so I've teamed up with Tom Bowler, all right? And Tom Bowler have been doing lots of research, and they've researched the nation and uncovered that everyday tasks that we all have to do, really, but we do find a little bit irritating. 88% of us admit that day-to-day life can be a little bit dull. And in fact, I don't want to depress anyone, but we feel fed up on average about 6 times a day. We're doing these mundane things. So we've got the dullest task leaderboard at number 1 is cleaning the loo. 34% of people think cleaning the loo is the most mundane task that they've got to do. 32% of Brits come second with cleaning the bathroom. Now, this one shocks me, really. 32% of Brits waiting in a queue at the supermarket. I don't know about you, Jimmy. I love waiting in a queue at the supermarket. It's my chance to have a little gossip with everybody.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, to be fair. So, I mean, the irony with that, Jody, sometimes if I'm driving in early in the morning and I'll see people actually like queuing up for the shop to open, I can never get my head around why people just don't arrive when it opens, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, no, you're right. I think it can be, I suppose, for some people. That's a really good point you've made there. I suppose it can be a social thing. It's another story from the day for some people to sort of get out there. But I've got to agree with the cleaning thing, to be fair. That for me is... It's one of them. You just wish you could clean once, and that's basically it. But the sooner you clean, it's sort of messy again. And I mean, is there anything else you can think of? What about yourself, Josie? What do you find a bit of insight to what do you find mind-numbing?
Do you know what I hate to do is cleaning out my junk folder in my emails. It is one of the most mind-numbing things I think I can do in a day. And I get so much of it, so much of it. Assembling flat pack furniture. That is another real dull task in life. So it's no surprise that 47% would love to find a quick and easy way to inject some fun into their lives to help break up the day. And that is why I've teamed up with Tom Bowler, because we have launched a campaign called Open for Fun. And we are hiding QR codes across the country for people to go and find. And there are hundreds of prizes up for grabs. And you can win vouchers, cash prizes, and they'll be in all your major cities. So we're injecting a little bit of fun into what might be a little bit of a dull day.
Absolutely. No, that's, that puts a bit of excitement into, certain things, that's for sure. And what I mean, just with that sort of, Josie, how is that going to sort of work for our listeners? Just sort of a bit of an insight into how will that work type thing. I mean, I'm sure there'll be listeners ready to go. And, the QR code is the excitement, to be fair. But how will that work basically? Have you got any sort of extra info, how they can sort of look into it more?
Yeah, so these QR codes, right, will be around all your major cities. We've got London, Glasgow, Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham. So you go there, and there's more cities. If you want more information, head to the Instagram at @tombowler_UK. But yeah, we'll be in all your major cities. These are hidden QR codes, so you could go on a little bit of adventure for the day. And when you find one, scan it, and you never know what you could get. I even dressed up myself as a giant QR code for this, and I took to the streets of London and the streets of Essex. My goodness, when I thought it was a sandwich board. It was a massive, great big QR code box, but the people I met were brilliant. They were lovely, really, really lovely, and I give everybody a chance to scam me.
And absolutely. I mean, the thing with that as well, I suppose, I mean, the key takeaway there is also for people to sort of, break the day up. I mean, there are things we have to do throughout the day. It can be a bit rinse, repeat. I mean, the way I sort of manage things myself, I've always got music on 24/7. There's always music on somewhere. So if I'm cleaning or doing whatever, type things. So, and plan throughout the day too. Like make sure you sort of make time to do things to look forward to as well. But just on there, sort of, in terms of obviously the list, it's a long list. What were the things that is anything on the list surprised you, Josie, that people sort of found mundane that you think, well, actually, I don't mind, doing that thing, or were any surprises there? Yeah.
Well, I love people. I love people, Jim. So I'm waiting for a queue in a supermarket again. I love that because you get to speak to everyone. Or waiting for public transport. 26% of us said that was mundane, but I love to do that because that's my bit of socializing there. Like hopefully you're waiting with other people, and paying bills. I know I do find that a bit mundane, don't you?
It's the sort of pain, especially when it's like, pending going out of the account, just take it out type thing. Yeah. But absolutely. It's mundane, but also, no doubt painful for a lot of people, especially at the moment, sort of from a financial perspective. Yeah. And in terms of I know sort of it digresses a bit, but just for our listeners, in terms of, when they are doing mundane things, and like you mentioned there, you enjoy the queue, you can have a bit of a chat and that sort of stuff. I suppose perspective too. Do you think that, maybe sometimes you just got to take a step back as well and think, okay, I can make something of this situation, rather than, the world for me seems to have gone really, really quick pace. We want to, be everywhere. And do you think something about sort of slowing down a bit too and just enjoying that moment? If you're in the queue, speak, if it's applicable, speak to someone or listen to the music while you're cleaning up as well. And what's your take on that? Maybe sort of, thinking, okay, well, I might not enjoy doing certain tasks, but I'll sort of, use it as an opportunity to just sort of, when I clean sometimes it's like mindfulness for me, Josie. I sort of like lose myself and a few tunes and just, get on with it basically and make the most of it. What's your sort of take on that?
Well, do you know what? On average, we've got to do about 11 tedious tasks every 24 hours. So we've got to do these tasks. So if you can make them as fun as you can, I know cleaning the loo is number one, but if you can make that fun, put your sparkly little gloves on, put some music on. It's all about, we've got, I think we lose ourselves sometimes. We've got to find the fun on the journey, haven't we? It's not about, what's that saying? It's not the destination, it's the journey, really, isn't it? And we've got to have fun on that journey. We need to spice things up a bit. So, if whatever you can do to put a smile on your face or whatever makes you happy, do it. Listening to music for me and having a dance while I'm doing it is my biggie. I love dancing.
No, well, I'm not sure about dancing for me, but I'm not the greatest dancer. But if it works for you, absolutely. I think that's good to have that sort of perspective where you see it as an opportunity just to sort of like lose yourself, do something else, and like I said, it is what it is. There's no getting around that. Obviously, I mean, maybe some things we can outsource and like get someone to do certain things, but like you said, things like email, it can get frustrating, to be fair. Sometimes when you go on the email, you got a million spam emails, and then you've got a million other things to do type thing. But I think like stepping back, like you said, can be a good thing too. But just for our listeners again, where can they go? I know you mentioned it, but just because we've digressed a bit there, they might forget, they might not go listen to where can they go to find info?
Yeah, well, you can go to all your major cities and try and locate these QR codes, or you can head to the Instagram for more details, which is at Tombola_UK. And Tombola are the official sponsors of I'm a Celeb. I'm a Celebrity is back, is coming back, and the rumored lineup looks incredible. But I'm wondering if they got any like secret campmates that are not in that rumored lineup that we don't know about, because they always throw a little bit of spice in there, don't they?
No, absolutely. When's it back? Just out of interest, do you have a rough idea when it's going to be back on? Or
it starts the 17th of November.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be back on this year. I mean, last year obviously sort of like it attracted a lot of attention for one reason or the other. But so the rumored lineup, and obviously it's not difficult to say. But what's your take on if the rumors are correct? Is it a good watch for people? Will it be interesting? Do you think?
I think, do you know what? The rumoured lineup, you've got Colleen Rooney. Now, Colleen Rooney is apparently one of the most highest paid jungle campmates ever. So I cannot wait to watch Colleen. I got a feeling that Colleen is a real girl's girl. Like I think she's going to be really good. You've got Maura Higgins. Now, Maura Higgins, I know her. I've worked with Maura before. She is so funny and she will get involved. You know, she'll get involved with all the tasks and everything like that. You've got Oti. Oh, Oti's lovely. She will be like the mother of the camp. You've got Danny from McFly. I think he'll be really good. There's so many, but these are all rumors. You don't know if they're definitely going in. So I think they've got a really, really good bunch this year. But you've got to remember, when you're put into the jungle, you are not the best version of yourself. You are starving hungry. Okay. The food that they give you, there's no like secret snacks behind a curtain. The food that they give you is actually the food that they give you. And it is very small, it's very rationed. So people are hungry, they're tired, and you've got to try and work together as a team to win those stars so you can feed everybody in the camp. So, you know, you do trigger each other a bit.
No, absolutely. And it's interesting you say as well, Judge, I think for me, sometimes there are some people who kind of surprise you. And also there are people that kind of you think would do well but don't do as well type thing. And I suppose that kind of explains it in a nutshell, really, under the circumstances, you know. It's one of them, really. You know, you kind of, like he says, the best version of one's person, or maybe a different version of somebody in that sort of environment. Yeah, absolutely. But that's interesting stuff, though. Yeah.
Can you imagine, Jim, being dropped in the middle of a jungle? And this is not a studio. You are dropped literally in the middle of the jungle with everything the jungle has to offer. Yeah. And you've got limited food, you're rationed, and then you've got to go out and do these horrific trials to earn stars so your campmates can eat. It is an experience like I've never known before. It has really pushed me to places I didn't even know existed.
Just out of interest, Josie, just while sort of speaking to you there, I mean, how far is the drive? You fly. I'm guessing you fly to Brisbane, or at some point you've got to go across there. But then the drive from there, how far into the forest is it? Just out of interest.
Well, to be honest, they take your. So when you go into, so you fly in, okay, and when you fly in, they take all your possessions off you. Now, so people fly into all different, because they keep it a secret. People fly into all different airports around Australia. You are picked up by a chaperone. They take your watch off you. They take your phone off you. You're not allowed to make any calls, and then you are taken straight to a hotel room. But you're blindfolded. You do not know where you are. It's like you've stepped into another reality. You don't know where you are. You don't know really where you're staying. You are allowed to go out for a little walk, so you can just about suss things out. I was on the Gold Coast, thank you. It was lovely. You've got no sense of reality or how long the drive is or anything, because everywhere you go, you are blindfolded and put in the back of a van.
Wow. That's incredible. You know what I was wondering too, Judge, just on that, I mean, sort of digress a little bit. It's just curious, really. You know what I always wonder too, like, I mean, I sort of passively watch the show now and again type thing. I mean, you know, my daughter's a big fan of the show and that sort of stuff, but I'll watch it now and again. But I always wondered, like, I mean, because there are some, you know, pretty venomous, there's some pretty venomous snakes, spiders, that sort of stuff, really. I always wondered, do they sort of clear that out? Or, I mean, obviously you might not know, but that's always something I sort of thought in the back of my mind. I thought, goodness me, there are some, you know, some pretty venomous creatures in sort of, you know, well, all over Australia, but certainly in that part for sure. I mean, surely they must sort of, you know, have a look and clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, so Frankie Dettori went to the go and have a shower under the waterfall one morning. He come back, he went, he said, there's a real venomous snake down there. What did you do? He went, I stepped over it.
Gee.
Our heads off. But it is the whole camp. There's not a show like Celebrity Get Me Out of Here on telly, and I don't think there ever will be, because the cam is guarded all the way around by special forces. So if you come across anything venomous, because it's a TV show at the end of the day, they are putting your life. They don't want to jeopardize your life. So it is guarded by special forces. So when something is dangerous, like a spider or a snake,
absolutely,
then they've got cameras that watch everything. They've got cameras in every single car. And then they close it off. They come in and take it out. So it's guarded by special forces 24 hours a day.
Yeah, that's really interesting, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of something I was sort of thought in the back of my mind. I mean, there are obviously, things out there, but there you go. It's an experience, no doubt, like no other. But thanks for your time, Josie. I'm mindful of time, but thanks for coming on board the show. And, hopefully this sort of, there's not too many mundane tasks for you to do today. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. I quite like the mundane tasks after doing the jungle. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, a bit of mundane is great. Exactly. I think we're all in that situation now. I think we all like a bit of mundane, with the way the world's been going the last few years. Give mundane anyway. Take care.
Thank you, Jim.